Let's talk about something many people are embarrassed to admit. Do you leak urine when you cough, when you sneeze, when you laugh, or when you jump? That is not just normal after childbirth. That could be a weak pelvic floor. And today in this video, we are talking about it unfiltered. Yes. Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Truth. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. I know so many people will be asking, what is pelvic floor? What is pelvic floor? Your pelvic floor is a group of muscles that sit like a hammock at the bottom of your pelvis. Yes, they sit like a hammock. And what do they support? They support your bladder, they support your bowel, they support your prostate, that is in men, and they support the uterus or the womb in women. That is what the pelvic floor muscles support. And when these muscles are weak, you experience leaking of urine when you cough, when you sneeze, you experience incontinence of urine. This is a sign to tell you that your pelvic floor muscle is weak. You experience difficulty in controlling your gas, in controlling your flatulence, in controlling your wind. You experience difficulty in controlling your bowel, where it leads to bowel leakage or fecal incontinence. You experience pelvic heaviness. It feels heavy around your pelvic area. Sometimes you experience reduced sexual sensation. This is because your pelvic floor muscle is weak. And in men, they can experience erectile issue, yes. All of this because your pelvic floor muscle is weak. So we need to pay attention to our pelvic floor muscle. We should not just overlook that muscle. No, your pelvic floor muscle is very, very important. Yes, your pelvic floor muscle is very, very important to your pelvic floor area. You need that muscle. You need the muscle to hold everything in place. And here is the truth. Weak pelvic floor muscle affects both men and women. Yes, weak pelvic floor muscle affects both men and women. Nobody is left out. I know some people will be asking, why is this muscle so important? Why is it so important? It is important because in women, pregnancy stretches this muscle. When we are pregnant, it stretches our pelvic floor muscle. When you give birth vaginally, that also affects and it weakens your pelvic floor muscle. Yes, vaginal delivery affects and weakens your pelvic floor muscle. And also, hormonal changes during menopause affect the pelvic floor muscle. Yes, for women, pregnancy stretches it, vaginal delivery affects it, it weakens it, and hormonal changes also affect the pelvic floor muscle. For the men, prostate surgery can weaken the pelvic floor muscle. Yes, if a man undergo prostate surgery, that can affect and weaken the pelvic floor muscle. Yes, it does. Aging also reduces the muscle tone. Yes, as we grow older, everything becomes slack in our body. So even as we age, it reduces the muscle tone of the pelvic floor muscle. So aging can also affect the pelvic floor muscle. Chronic coughing or heavy lifting can also affect the pelvic floor muscle. Yes, that was why in my previous video, I spoke about people who like lifting heavy weight. Lifting heavy weight is not bad. No, lifting heavy weight is not bad, but just know, have this at the back of your mind that even as you are lifting that heavy weight, you are building your muscle, right? But it is affecting your pelvic floor muscle. Even as you are using that weight to build your upper muscle, that same weight is also putting strain on your pelvic floor muscle and it is weakening it. Yes, it is affecting your pelvic floor muscle. So this is not just a woman issue, but it is a human issue. It is not just women issue, but it is human issue. Everyone is involved. No one is left behind. I know you'll be asking, when should I start? The honest answer is as early as your 20s. Yes, as early as in your 20s, you should start doing your pelvic floor muscle exercise. But especially after childbirth, we should start doing our pelvic floor muscle exercise. If you are medically clear that yes, everything is okay, then 6 weeks postpartum, you should start doing your pelvic floor muscle exercise. You should start squeezing and relaxing. Yes. So you can start doing the exercise very gently, but make sure you start doing it 6 weeks after childbirth or 6 weeks postpartum if you are medically cleared by your doctor. During perimenopause and menopause, you need to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Like I said earlier, hormonal changes affect this muscle. So during perimenopause and menopause, you need to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Even if you start your pelvic floor muscle exercise as early as in your 20s, you need to do this exercise till your old age. For pelvic floor muscle exercise, you don't need to stop. I understand that you can be very busy and you might forget to do your exercise. But as you remember, try to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Also, if you notice leakage, if you notice that you are having urine leakage, then you need to pay more attention to your pelvic floor muscle. You need to pay more attention to that muscle, because if that muscle is weak, that is when leakage can happen. So you need to squeeze that muscle just to strengthen it. If you lift heavy weights, then you need to be very consistent with your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Yes. If you know that you are somebody that you can't do without lifting weights, or you are a gym girly, you are a gym body, then you need to be very consistent with your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Pelvic floor muscle exercise is different from yoga. Yes. The reason why I said it is different from yoga is because for pelvic floor muscle exercise, you need to concentrate on that muscle. And when you are squeezing that muscle, nobody should know that you are doing that exercise. Yes. All you just need to do is you're squeezing that muscle down below without anybody noticing that you're squeezing that muscle. So that is why it is different from doing yoga. If you have chronic cough, then you need to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Yes, you need to be very consistent with it. And if you are somebody that sits down for long hours, you need to be very consistent with your exercise. You need to do it every day. Starting early prevents future problems and it builds body awareness. Yes, if you start doing your pelvic floor muscle exercise now, it will build your body awareness and it will prevent any future problems. Prevention is powerful. So start doing your pelvic floor muscle exercise now. So let me quickly explain to you how to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. Firstly, you need to recognize the muscle. Yes. Before you can do your exercise, you need to recognize the muscle you are squeezing or the muscle you are contracting. So to identify the muscle, what you need to do is imagine you are passing urine and you are stopping yourself from passing urine. Or imagine you are passing gas and you are stopping yourself from passing gas, not by squeezing your thigh, not by squeezing your belly, not by stiffening yourself. No, relax as much as you can. Try to identify that muscle and try to squeeze internally. So sit down, relax. Imagine you are passing urine and you are trying to stop yourself. Squeeze. Yes, that is the muscle. That is your pelvic floor muscle. Do not regularly practice by stopping urine midstream. The reason we say try to stop urine, try to see if you can stop it, is just because we want to know if you can identify that muscle. So you just need to do it once to identify that, oh yes, I can stop my urine while passing. Yes, I can stop it. That is just to identify the muscle. So once you've identified the muscle, you don't need to continue stopping your urine midstream. No, don't do that, because that can go up to your kidney and it can cause infection. Yes, because the backflow of urine can go up to your kidney and it can cause infection, and we don't want that. All you just need to do is to do it once. Try to stop your urine midstream. If you can stop it, that squeezing sensation, that is your pelvic floor. Yes. So once you've identified the muscle, what you need to do next is to tighten the muscle. Tighten the muscle. Like I said, you don't need to tighten your thigh or your gluteal muscle or your bum bum. I mean, yes, your bum bum or your belly. You don't need to do that. Tighten the muscle. Hold it in for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Relax for 5 seconds. Once you've relaxed, you need to repeat this exercise for 10 times. So once you repeat it for 10 times, you need to do it 3 times every day. Yes, you can set your alarm. Just set your alarm to do your exercise morning, afternoon, evening. Repeat this exercise 3 times every day. As you feel like, oh, I'm getting used to this exercise, the muscle is getting stronger, you can increase the hold for up to 10 seconds. Just increase it gradually, gradually, gradually. Yes. And like I was trying to explain earlier, when you are doing this exercise, you don't need to seize your breath. No, you don't need to seize your breath. You don't need to visibly move your body. No, people must know that you are doing this exercise. You don't need to do like this. No, that is not squeezing. You need to squeeze it internally. Squeeze it and you don't need to move your body. You don't need to squeeze in your belly. You don't need to tighten your muscle, your thigh muscle. No, just relax as much as you can. Don't seize your breath. Don't squeeze in your belly. Don't squeeze in your thigh muscle. Just relax and squeeze the muscle internally. You can do this exercise when sitting at home, when sitting at work, when standing on a queue, when driving, when lying in bed, when sitting in the office, even when in that meeting, you can do it. Nobody would know that you are doing this exercise. This exercise is very discreet. It is very powerful. No one would know you are doing it. You can take any posture to do this exercise. So far, you are tightening your pelvic floor muscle, then you are doing the right thing. You don't need any equipment to do your pelvic floor muscle exercise. What you need is consistency. I understand that some people try to use what we call pelvic floor muscle educator just to train themselves. And these people are the people who have weak pelvic floor muscle. Maybe they've seen a doctor or they've seen a healthcare professional who have advised them to try to use a pelvic floor muscle educator just to retrain that muscle. That is understandable. But not everybody needs an equipment. What you need is your consistency. You need to be consistent with this exercise. It's just like you going to the gym. You want to build your upper arm body. That is how your pelvic floor muscle exercises. You need to be very consistent and even more consistent than going to the gym. Like I said, you need to do it 3 times every day. Yes, consistency is the key. So in regards to the educator, like I said, some people do benefit from equipment. Those are the people who have weak pelvic floor muscle, and the equipment is called NIN educator. We have several types, but NIN educator is one of the equipment that would help those who have weak pelvic floor muscle to strengthen their muscle or to identify where they need to squeeze. There is also a consistency tool that can help you. The tech guys has really helped us. Yeah. And it is an application which you can download on your phone or on your laptop. It is called Squeezy app. Squeezy app. It guides you with information and techniques on how you need to go about with your muscle exercise. Yes. And this is going to be helpful for those who struggles with consistency. These are the common mistakes people make. Yes, when squeezing their muscle, they push instead of squeezing. Yes, you don't need to push. So pushing is when you are applying a force. You don't need to push. What you are doing is squeezing. Just internalize it like you're squeezing something down below. That is what you need to do. Holding your breath is one of the common mistakes people also make. Another thing is only doing it when there is a problem. That is also a thing. People don't like doing their pelvic floor muscle exercise every day, or people forget to do their pelvic floor muscle exercise, and this is not right. We need to do it every day as far as you can remember. So one of the mistake people make is they only do it when they have problem. They only do it when they feel there is a problem, stopping after the symptoms improve. This is a lifelong muscle maintenance. So we need to do our exercises every day. Set a reminder on your phone. First Timothy 4:8 says, "For bodily exercise profiteth little." Physical training is of some value. Yes, some value, not zero value, some value. So your faith and your fitness, they are not enemies. They are partners. They work hand in hand. The book of 3 John 1 says, "Beloved, I pray for you that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper." Even as your soul is prospering, your health is also prospering. That is what the Bible tells us. You should not neglect one for one. It needs to work together. God desires emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, all of it, including the muscles nobody talks about. Yes. Ask your mom, ask your wife, ask your husband, ask your friend, ask your sister, ask your brother, ask your father. Are you doing your pelvic floor muscle exercise? Yes. Normalize the conversation because silence creates suffering. We need to break silence in order not to suffer. So normalize the conversation. Talk to them as you would talk about other things. This is a lifelong concern. The best time to start was years ago, and the next best time is now. So start now. Thank you for staying true. Thank you for watching to the end. Hope you've learned something today. If something stood out for you in today's video, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you would not miss out on any upload. Thank you. This is Unfiltered Truth. Faith, health, life, Unfiltered. Bye.